Hey, another one of my funny stories. Actually, unfortunately, another one of my public humiliations. Hey, I've got a shirt on. It's raining outside. Are y'all happy now? Oh, anyway, guys. Uh, I'm sorry. How you doing, guys? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Okay, this is Fight on the White. And it's about a fight I had on the White River at the Guyan Ferry when I was working for a fence company years ago. When I was in good shape, I was muscled up, 18-inch biceps, 44-inch chest, 190 pounds, and it was about. I got in very few fights, guys. I don't like to fight. I will if I have to, and I can very well take care of myself, but I don't like to do it. I back down from people that I could very easily handle in my life. But this is one of the funniest ones, and it's one that if you've seen the guy, no disrespect to him, against me, it's looked like one that I should have taken care of very easily because it looked like John Jones of the UFC against a very miniature Butterbean. I was about a foot taller than him. I have shrunk, guys. I was almost 6'2", 190 pounds, solid muscle. This feller was about 5'4", hit me about right here, about 200 pounds, but he kind of looked like a Weeble or maybe a Humpty Dumpty with little small short legs. He was all body, kind of like Bobby Hill on Hank King of the Hill. That's what he actually looked like. Well, of course, I didn't start it, but the thing is, the fence company I worked with, me, those 16 people worked for it. Me, the boss, and his brother was the only ones that hadn't been in prison. Of course, them guys like to fight. When they see a guy like me, oh hey, they call me Schwartz because of my bicep. Oh hey Schwartz, and they try to arm wrestle me. I just beat them easily. Oh yeah, but I bet you can fight too. Come on, man. I've been in prison. I've done this. I've done that. Using a weapon, showing me a weapon, and everything else. I'm not gonna fight. I said I have no reason to fight you. I ain't got nothing against you. I ain't got nothing to prove. And they'd all go on and everything. And oh look, Mitch broke these daggum vice grips trying to tighten some up. He's come on y'all. Anyway, so we're up on the Guyan Ferry, and it's this one guy he fought a lot, and he knew how to fight. I found that out. But him and his friends did wrestling all weekend and everything. Well, it was a hot day. When I get hot, even if everything's going fine, I get mad. It was actual 108 degrees. Actual 108 degrees. The heat index was like 122, and it was like 2, 3 o'clock. We was working up in there, up around Mount Pleasant, above Batesville. There's several Mount Pleasants, but it is above the White River. And we was on the fence, and I raised. I like to stretch my knees out, and I raised up and caught it like this, caught my foot. And when I did, he caught my foot and kind of acted like he was going to jerk me down, and that just caught me wrong. Normally, I just say, "Man, let go," and everything else, or something like that. And I was just mad, and I tried to spin kick him. Jump up in there and spin kick him. And when I did, he pulled my foot out from under me, and I went face down on a rock. And dude, the fight was on. I bulldozed him. But this is kind of like the guy had something called leverage on me. He knew how to fight, and he had a little weight advantage on me. It's kind of like when you see a big old bulldozer push down a 50, 60-foot tree. But I pounded him, and I don't have the killer instinct unless I'm really mad. And I really wasn't mad. I wasn't fighting mad. And we got to wrestling in about 30 seconds. I had him in the full Nelson, and I picked him up, and I was going to throw him down, but those jagged rocks below me, it hurt him real bad. I mean, I'd like to went to jail, and I didn't want to hurt him, so I threw him in a pile of dirt. Well, I thought it'd been over with then, but he come and caught me in the bend of the knee. And no, wait a minute, that was another move. Well, when I did, I turned around. I turned around. This is what's funny, because then I knew how to fight. He knew how to fight. I had him in a full Nelson. I turned around to keep from dropping him on the jagged rocks, and he started doing this kick with his little legs out, and it threw me off balance, and he flipped me and got me in a full Nelson. The fight was on then. We rolled around. I know it looked like a good UFC fight. Longest fight I ever had. 5 minutes, it was at least 5 minutes. We was rolling around there, flipping, everything else, and all them prisoners like, man, you should have whooped him and everything else. And we ended up both so tired, we had each other in a double headlock, and we both just like this, that. I mean, I was about to have a heat stroke after that. So it was a very embarrassing public humiliation, and one of the toughest prisoners come around, and he said, "You dumb SOB." He said, "You had him." He said, you could have threw him on the fence. He said, you could have threw him on the rocks. I said, I don't want to do it. He said, that's what you get for effing around with him. He said, nearly got your butt whooped by a guy that shouldn't whoop you. I said, well, whatever. But the thing about it is, you from the South, have you ever heard that song, harder to get a hold of than a greased swine? That's what it was like, guys. It really was. He was round, couldn't get a hold of nothing to begin with. I was holding on his shirt after I lost him. And then during the middle of the fight, he lost his shirt. So it was harder to get a hold of than a greased swine. So I hope this gives you a laugh. But the thing is, my temper goes from F0 to F5. There's no in between. And the guy got pretty cocky, telling everybody he pretty much won the fight, which that's not true. And if he did, I could have ended it earlier. So if you could have seen this was funny. I drove a big van to haul the people back from there to Heber Springs, a big old Suburban, and we was all there one day, and he was kind of messing with me, and he found out what the temper was. He kind of got out there, and he's kidding, he slapped me. Wasn't too hard. I had the truck in reverse. No, Carthel, the boss's brother, was standing out there. I nearly run over him, and I lost it. And I turned around and grabbed him, and when I did, I pushed the gas pedal. I run plumb across where we was staging our stuff, all our equipment, everything, run into a piece of equipment, bam, shook everybody up. And he's like, oh, man, I didn't care. I was ready to go right then. I said, man, don't you ever do that again. And everybody's like, all them prisoners, that guy had been in jail, like, what the heck? And then old Carthel come around and said, Mitchell, what are you doing? You could have unalived somebody. He said, let me tell you something, son. You and all them other boys. He said, you drive this Suburban back to Heber. And he said, you don't say one word, not one word. And all the way back there, there was hardly anything said. Have any of you guys that work construction in any other places had something like that happen to you? Wasn't one of my funniest stories, but it was one of my biggest public humiliations, getting down by that guy. Later.